The Race and Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They prize up all UK and Irish racing the night before.
Hi there, welcome along to the Race and Post Weekend Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington, making a welcome return to the studios. Paul Keeley over in Ireland. We've got David Jennings, and we've also got, from Paddy Power, Rob Catterson. We suspect that Ascot is in grave danger. When a racecourse says they're fairly pessimistic, it normally means they're under about 3 feet of snow or the main grandstand's blown down. So we will focus more on Haydock, where there's a really fascinating card. We will touch on Ascot, just in case the weather gods do us a big favour. We'll look at some big names coming back at Navan. I was going to say big names coming back at Jedski. That wouldn't be quite right. And then on Sunday, we've got some fiercely competitive high-class action at Leopardstown as well. So hopefully tons of winners for you. We will get started, though, with Haydock and the 3:15, the Peter Marsh Chase. And what a conundrum this is for punters, because we've got this enigmatic beast from France, Allery, who's jumped. He's already on the fringes of the Gold Cup picture. He's 2 from 20 in France. We will find out what all the fuss is about tomorrow, I guess. Like I say, 3:15. It's the Peter Marsh handicap, and first of all, Rob Catterson. I guess Allery's favourite. Just how short is he? Give us a show.
He is. Hi, Bruce. We're 130 about Allery. It's 4-1 Bristol de May and definitely red. It's then 9-1 Vintage Clouds, 11-1 South Salito Sunrise, and 12s and bigger the rest.
OK, Paul Kelly, so why is a horse with a record of 2 from 20 in France, 16-1 to win the Gold Cup and 130 to win the Peter Marsh on his UK debut? What's going on?
Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? I mean, they obviously paid a lot of money for it, and Colin Tizard has talked it up quite highly recently. And when he talks his horses up, he's not wrong very often. So you do have to bear that in mind. I mean, looking at his profile, I couldn't have in a million years off 162. Only Denman in the last 10 years has won a 3-mile handicap chase off a higher mark than 161. So, he's got an awful lot to do. And, if he's that good, why has he only won twice? Now, there's a very shrewd guy on Twitter by the name of Rhys Williams who knows his French form inside out, and he said that the trainer had another horse that was 2 from 20 and ended up winning 3 Grade 1. So it doesn't mean it can't happen. But when you've got a 7-year-old who's been racing for 3 years and his wins have come at 25-1 and 10-1, it just, I can't get my head round it. I can't get my head around him being favourite. I'm fully prepared to see him hack up. But if he does, then, he's probably second favourite for the Gold Cup. Which, when you're non-runner, no bet, like you are, Rob, what price are you, Allery, for the Gold Cup?
We're 16s.
If he gets stumped tomorrow, he doesn't run in the Gold Cup. If he wins, he ain't 16s. So, that's one angle to play. But to me, I couldn't have him.
Who can you have then?
Who can I have? Well, I've got a bit of a blind spot with Bristol de Mai. I do think it'd be very, very hard to kick out the frame. I think he'll get a free go of it up front.
It definitely stayed as he did the rehearsal chase prove beyond doubt that 3 miles is all right for him?
On Racing Post ratings, it was, probably the joint best run of his career. It was second time out. I don't know whether he's a stuffy horse or what, but he just seems to get better as the season goes on. And he did absolutely bolt up in the novice chase on this card last year. It was only 2 mile 4 furlongs, but he won by 30 odd lengths. And he just really took to the place. And, I like these horses from the front of Haydock. The fences are really easy. Can be hard to make a lot of ground up. And, I think he's going to be a massive, massive player. Whether he's, a great price at 4-1 now is another matter. But, I see one outsider going really well, and that is Bishop's Road for Kerry Lee, because she's absolutely flying again. She's booked Sam Twiston Davis. He won the Grand National Trial at the track last year over 3.5 mile, and he looked like he just joined in turning for home. Won by 15 lengths, only £5 higher now. So at bigger prices, he'd be an interesting one.
How was your holiday, by the way?
It was great. I literally did nothing. I sat on the sofa and watched the telly and read books.
Really? Oh, did you read anything on climate change? Have you changed your mind on climate change?
No, I haven't changed my mind at all. I did read books on climate change, but in case of confirmation bias, it was all what I wanted to hear.
So you think we're still going to be all right? Because while you were away, they said 2016 was the hottest year ever.
Yeah, apparently by 1/100th of 1 degree.
Okay.
Well, so what?
So we don't need to worry about that?
No, we don't need to worry. It's freezing out there, mate.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, David Jennings, 3:15 Peter Marsh handicap chase. Who's your idea of the winner?
I feel like I've turned into Paul Keeley here. I just completely echo everything he said. If ever there was a track,
including the climate change.
Yeah, reading books and sitting on the sofa, I think, as well. If ever there was a track, if ever there was a trip, if ever there was a ground made for Bristol de Mai, this is it. Like that day he won that novice chase on this card last year, he was absolutely awesome. And you know, you can say the race fell apart, but he beat some good horses. He absolutely annihilated them. Amorialato was in it, Otago Trail was in it. He wasn't even favoured that day. And it was interesting, Nigel Twiston-Davies, after that race, in his quotes after the race, he said, this is an out-and-out stare. They think he needs a trip. And as Paul says, it doesn't take much jumping around Haydock. And he is that natural cruising speed over shorter. I could see him getting into a really nice rhythm. I could see this being over, like turning in. I could see him being a couple of lengths clear and just galloping them into the ground. I think this has been the plan for a while. I know he was due to run in Wetherby on St Stephen's Day or Boxing Day in that race. What won it this year? Definitely Red won it, I think. And I think the ground was just a little bit too quick, so they've saved him for this. He's a good horse. I think he's probably well handicapped off 154. And as Paul said, the outsider I was given a chance to was Bishop's Road. So I've just turned into Paul Keeley for the last 5 minutes.
Blimey, O'Reilly. Excellent stuff. Right, Rob, are you going to give 3 yeses to Bristol de Mai?
I am. It's pretty embarrassing that the lads have beaten me to it. The only other thing I'll throw in with Bristol de Mai is, I suppose he was in that 2-runner race at the start of the season, but he's never finished out of the first 3 in any of his runs in England. Of course, he's a Grade 1 winner, and I thought that the last day when he was second, he certainly showed that he didn't stay. So at 4-1, given his stats and given what the lads have already said, it's very hard to see him not go close.
Okie dokie, that's a confident start. No messing around there. Bristol de Mai wins the Peter Marsh. Who wins the StanJames.com Champion Hurdle Trial at 2:40? Before the boys answer that, Rob, what's the latest betting?
Right, well, it's a 2-horse book really at the moment. We're 6-4 Lammy Surge. We're 7-4 the new one. Irving is a 5-1 chance, and it's 12's bar.
Keels?
Yeah, well, the new one is unbeaten 3 starts at Haydock. I've never actually thought he'd particularly like the track. He's
made heavy weather at some of them, hasn't he?
beating horses like Raving Black and Bertimont, and now he's got to give £8 to Lammy Surge, and I'm surprised it's a sort of an each of two bet, because Lammy Surge, okay, he got called a few names the other day, but I don't think he truly stays 2.5 mile anyway, and I can see him cantering through this race and winning easily.
Oh, can you? Excellent. Yeah. Right, David, what about you?
Oh God, you may as well just go with Paul. I completely agree. Like if you look at the new ones, 3 wins in Haydock, they've arguably been his 3 worst performances. He was 1-3, 1-6, and 8-13.
There was that one where he was zigzagging around like Ingemar Stenmark.
That was against Bertimont in this race 2 years ago, and it was X-rated view, and it was horrible. I think he hates the place. He's not a horse I love. And I know there's a great affection for him in Britain, but he hasn't done it for me, to be honest.
He's won 14 starts. He won 14 of his 23, and he's finished second in 5 other. He's been a top class, just under the very best for quite a while, and he's tough and game. You know, I think there's a fair amount of admiration for him, and I think it's deserved.
Leave him alone, DJ, you bastard.
But I think he'll probably go out and win this bloody thing now. But as Paul said, the ground and the trip is key for Lammy Surge here. Like they think the world of him. He just hasn't fulfilled his potential. I fancied him in the JLT last year. I thought Nico de Boinville just hit the front a bit too soon on him. He's actually quite a good jumper. He just hasn't put it all together over fences. He jumped way to his left at Exeter. The last day he probably just didn't want it enough, but I don't think he'll have to want it enough to win this, to be honest with you, getting so much weight from the new one, and I'd be disappointed if he didn't win quite comfortably.
2-horse race, do you think, David? Is Irving, was that the usual Irving where he does his best work at the start of the season? It was a decent enough performance, wasn't it?
He's a funny sort of horse. He either wins or he runs a shocker, so it'll be one or the other. I have a feeling he'll run a shocker here.
Okay, that'll do. Go on.
Yeah.
No, go on.
No, it's all right.
You sound like
I
you're
was
about
just going to say
the
most interesting horse in the race, arguably, is Cyrus Darius, who was absolutely awesome the day he won at Aintree, but has been off the track for so long. I'd just be interested to see how he runs, because I think he has the makings of a decent chaser next season. He could, in time, develop into a Grade 1 chaser next season, so I'd be interested in how he gets on, but Lammy Surge wins it. Okay,
Rob Catson, what are you going to do here? Are you going to stick with the lads again, or are you going to go with the new one?
Well, we're either going to have a great day or a really bad day, because I'm in the Lammy Surge camp. Getting the £8 is obviously going to be a difference, and he looked as though he was going to win over a further trip at Cheltenham. So to back up the lads, It's Lammy Surge again for me.
OK, well, everyone's gone for Lammy Surge, but perhaps this will make you change your mind. This is Nigel and Sam Twiston-Davies talking about the new one.
He's got outstayed by Yanworth. You know, there was my tent or yours sort of was aggravating him all the way around, and and made it into a real stayers contest. And maybe he didn't just quite stay as well as Yanworth did.
He wouldn't want it really heavy, but they usually put us on a different track for that race. So be hopefully fresh ground. And Kempton, it just comes a little bit quick after Cheltenham, but even so, he ran a very brave race again and showed everyone what he's well capable of doing.
Tremendous backing not sound there, wasn't it? Beautiful bird song for Nigel and what sounded like a muck spreader for Sam. OK, 1:30 at Haydock. It's the very high-class novice chase. Is this the thing that Bristol De Mai won last year, I presume?
Yeah,
is
it is, yeah.
OK, have we got any betting on this one yet, Rob?
Not yet, no.
OK, well, let's get some views then. I guess Politolog will be favourite when he kills, would you think?
You'd imagine so. It ought to be quite a tight betting heat between a few of them. Politolog's obviously look really, really decent for his 2 wins. It's a freebie. Thrash Cole Harden. Obviously, Cole Harden didn't take a massive cut at his fences, to be honest, last time. But he's a tough horse. He was also won a decent novice hurdle at this track last season. And then you've got Waiting Patiently, who absolutely thrashed a horse called Burtonswell at Sedgefield in a handicap. Burtonswell came out, won very easy. Waiting Patiently then beat Forest Behan, who's come out and won very easily again since. And, on Racing Post ratings, it's very big difference of opinion between the official handicapper and Steve Mason, our handicapper, because we've actually got Waiting Patiently slightly ahead, and he's got a £10 lower mark than the official handicapper. I quite like the look of Waiting Patiently. I think he did it comfortably against a decent horse last time.
I think if in doubt, you can always side with Mace the Ace, can't
I would.
you?
I would.
Where do you have him
always side
in
with
good judges?
Right up there.
Excellent. DJ, who do you like here?
Just below me, is it, Paul?
Dream on, Sunbeam.
No comment.
The thing about Politolog is he's very flashy, and he looked brilliant for so much of that race at Ascot. And the commentator added to was it John Hunt that day? I can't remember, but he added to it because every time he pinged one, he kind of analysed the jump. So it was great viewing that day at Ascot. He looked very, very good. But he wasn't that good over hurdles. And like Paul said, Waiting Patiently is very interesting. Like, Forest Behan would be my idea, the winner of the novice handicap chase on the first day at Cheltenham. And he hammered him. And the now infamous Aquadude was back in third that day. And I came out of that day at Newcastle thinking that was a proper novice chase. And Waiting Patiently won it very easily. It's impossible to know how good he is because he hasn't come off the bridle yet, but he's beaten some good horses very, very easily. He's rated £10 inferior to Politolog, which leaves him with a bit to do considering he only gets £3. But I've a feeling we haven't seen the best of him yet. And I've a feeling when the prices come out for this initially, Politolog is going to be very, very short. And I think the two of them are going to come much closer together. So my advice would be, when the betting comes out, I'd imagine Waiting Patiently will be at least 3-1. But I think he could go off a bit shorter. So yeah, I agree with Paul. I think Waiting Patiently could be the value.
OK, and Rob, do you have a view on the race?
I do, yeah, and I'm in the It's a Freebie camp. You go back to his novice hurdle form, like that 30 Yorkhill in the Neptune is really good. The Yorkhill form all last season has been working out this season. He ran at Cheltenham behind 007 until about 2 out. He looked the most likely winner. He jumped brilliantly. I know the lads are talking about Politolog's jumping, but this lad jumps really well, and he hammered Cole Harden the last day. This is a good horse, and I think he could be the value.
Righty-ho. Anything else at Haydock we need to mention, Kills?
Yeah, we've got a good novice hurdle, the Rossington Main. It's quite interesting. You've got Mohayed reopposing Elgin, who they were first and second at Kempton. And you've got the unbeaten Harry Fry horse, Nean Wolf, who's won a point, a bumper and a hurdle. I will take a chance on Creve Hill, who I think will be, an outsider, certainly be the outsider against those three. Just quite like the way he raced really keenly his first 2 starts, but I like the way he settled last time, and he won under 12 stone in a handicap. Different sort of race altogether there, but I give him a shot at a price, and in the 350, Woof. We go for Woof in the 350 handicap chase. Hasn't run for a year. When last seen, it was second, and I can't remember who it was second to now. But it was quite by chance. He was rated 123 then. He's rated 147 now, I think. A really, really good piece of form, and he comes back and he's well handicapped.
Are you going to be putting that one up in the paper tomorrow?
I will be, yeah.
Okay, so can we have the headline, "You'd be barking mad to miss Woof"?
Oh, we'll do our best.
Okay. DJ, anything at Haydock we should note?
I was going to say, I think Paul is barking up the right tree there with Woof. I think he's well handicapped. 130 is quite interesting, and I went through this race last night, and there's a lot of ifs and buts about the others in the race, especially there's a few that weren't declared that were quite interesting. But off 130, if Wolf gets into a good rhythm, he likes Haydock. A flat track left-handed is exactly what he needs. I could see him being well backed.
Righty-ho. Anything else for you, Rob, that you want to mention at Haydock? If not...
Yeah.
Go on.
The horse Paul mentioned, the novice hurdle, that Mo Hayed, he's obviously got form to find it with Elgin from that Kempton run, but it was his first run over hurdles. He was really good on the flat. He was 6th in Glen Eagles' Irish 2000 Guineas.
He was a horrible yoke on the flat. Horrible horse.
Well, he'll be better over hurdles.
So you're very much all over Dan Skelton tomorrow then, with it's a freebie as well, Rob.
Yeah.
Okay, quick break and then we'll look at the rest of the Saturday stuff.
Get instant access to your winnings with Cashcard Plus, Paddy's brand new card, available to use at ATMs, online or in shops. T&Cs apply. 18 plus. Gambleware.co.uk.
Okay, I'm looking at my brilliant weather app, forecast.co.uk. Everyone uses these flash ones, but Forecast's always right. And they reckon it's going to get down to -5 and still be -2 at Ascot at 10 o'clock tomorrow. So we don't think it's going to happen. If it does, though, we really would be. It would be remiss of us not to give you a quick steer on the main race of the day, which is obviously the Clarence House and Kills. Would you be in the Undesau camp or the Armad camp?
I'm just about in the Armad camp. I mean, I thought, if his jumping hadn't fallen apart, I think he was given a bit of time to sort of come back to himself. But he charged up the hill at Sandown, and that's a mile 7.5 furlongs. And I just think this trip will suit him a lot better. It's another furlong and a half, and I think he's got a chance. It's not a race to have a massive bet in. One of the two will win. But I think he's got a chance of beating Undesau.
All right, what do you think, David Jennings?
I think Undesau will probably win if it's on. I'm not convinced by Armad. I know it was his first run in a long time the last day, but I just didn't like the way he teared off. Now, maybe that was the plan, I don't know, but he's just not my cup of tea. I think Undesau is a better horse than him anyway, and I know he's a very short price, but I think something has to go wrong with Undesau for him to win, and I think everything has gone right since Sandown. Willie seemed to be very happy with him, and I'd imagine he's hoping that the race is on, although if it does switch to Cheltenham next week, that would be very interesting, because I'd say Willie would be quite happy to get a little prep in before the Ryanair back at Cheltenham. Indeed.
Right, Rob, you can have the casting vote. Armad or Undesau?
Yeah, it's Undesau for me. I watched the Tingle Creek back last night, and it just reminded me how badly he jumped, because he's been known to be a pretty extravagant jumper. He missed the last two and he still managed to win. He was headed, everything went wrong. He still managed to win the Tingle Creek. So in a match bet against Armad, it's free money. If you're looking for something at an outside price, Royal Regatta's got a good Ascot record. I wouldn't be shocked if he finished second Undesau.
Okay, right. If Ascot is on, you can tweet Keels, tweet DJ, and they'll give you some tips in the morning. But otherwise, we'll assume the worst there. And we'll move on to Navan. David Jennings' home race course of are you the most famous citizen of Navan, DJ, now?
Absolutely not.
Who is?
Navan is a load of celebrities. Have you ever heard of Tommy Tiernan, the comedian?
No.
Have you ever heard of Pierce Brosnan, James Bond?
Yes, of course. Well, how can you go Tommy Tiernan above Pierce Brosnan?
Because he actually had a show on RT last night, so it was the first one that came to mind.
Oh, okay. Anyone else?
Like famous GA footballers and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. All right,
yeah,
well, you're top 10. Anyway, so 105 is the main focus of attention. It's the race displays event signage hurdle. And it features the return of Jeski after 632 days off, and the return of Carlingford Lock, who is taking on a 2-mile hurdle, having last been seen trouncing Jackadam and the like in the Punchestown Gold Cup. We've got some betting, haven't we, Rob? And I think you're pretty sure on Jetski, aren't you?
Yeah, but not long after declarations, there was even money around. That hasn't lasted. Plenty of people were on the ball. 8-11 Jetski, 11-2 Tombstone. Renetti is 7s. It's 8-1 Shore Reef, Carlingford Lock 16s, and 20s Alisir Derlande and Indian Monsoon. Okay,
we were doing our postcast earlier in the week, and we did this Stayers hurdle, and there was a lot of love for Jetski. David Jennings, do you think he'll endorse the views of those of us who think Jetski's got a great chance next month, or rather 2 months' time?
I think Nick Watts sleeps with Jetski over in County Kildare, does he? Nick is very much in love with Jetski.
He's a big fan.
The vibes have been very, very strong, and all along I've been in touch with Jetski for a few little news bits here and there, and I don't think they've missed a beat between, just say, when he came back into training and now. I know he was due to run at Christmas, but I think they just took a pull because they had runners in that, in those type of races, and this is quite interesting. It's a good race. It is a good race. Renetti, who knows what Renetti is going to do? He has plenty of ability, and there is a big handicap in him, but I'd imagine this could be a prep for the Betfair Hurdle at Newbury for Renetti, to be honest with you. Sure needs further and has only ran once in 3 years, so I cross him off. So there's 2 gone probably already. Then you've got Tombstone, who was a really good novice last season. Gordon thought he was going to be one of his best novice chasers this year, but things obviously haven't gone according to plan, so they've decided to keep his novice status over fences for next season. I think he's the big danger, and if I was to have a bet in this race, which I won't, it would be Tombstone without. But I think Jetski, the vibes are good. He's gone well fresh in the past. I think he's won first time out for a good few seasons, so he does go well fresh and he seems in good form, so I would suggest Jetski to beat Tombstone.
Rob, have you got a view on how he can make money out of this race?
I do, yeah. Obviously, Jetski's going to be older age. I know Jessica sort of said the stairs is very much the plan. I just wonder if things were to happen with 2 other horses, would they contemplate the Champion Hurdle? He was in it earlier in the week, but it looks a fairly good opportunity. As Dave said, there's a lot of doubts about the main opposition, and again, if you're looking for a stab in the dark, something to give you a run for your money, this Alistair Derlande, now obviously he's coming back from a few okay runs over fences. This lad's going to go out in front, and given that there's going to be fitness issues with at least 3 of these, if not more, he just could get a few of these in trouble, but you'd be disappointed if Jetski couldn't win.
Kills, what's your view on Jetski, both overall as a horse and whether he can still cut it?
Like him as a horse, but I mean, you have to lay a horse that's had 2 years off and is coming back at odds on over a trip that could now be well short of his best. I've no idea what's going to win it because obviously Renetti's a loony. I thought Tombstone was potentially a bit soft as well, so I think there were negatives about all the others. But odds on a horse coming back, soft ground, 2 miles.
You're going to be laying away, are you?
Yeah, I think I'll be laying away. I won't get massively involved, but I just think I couldn't have them odds on. Okay,
DJ, give us another couple, 1 or 2 to back on the Navan card.
I'll give you one anyway. The 3:20 to 2.5 mile beginners chase. Arbor de Vie, trained by Willie. Paul Townend is down to ride it, but I presume Ruby will be in action at Navan now, with Ascot likely to be called off. I got the impression from Willie that this horse needed to run badly at Fairyhouse on New Year's Day. He was a very, very good hurdler, really, really good hurdler, and I think they thought he was going to be an even better chaser. I think he ran in the Coral Cup last year. He was only an 8-1 shot he was rated up on the 150s over hurdles. He was even money favourite to win that chase at Fairyhouse, and just got a little bit outpaced. Looked as though he needed to run. I have a feeling he's the makings of a really good chaser, so I think he'll beat Acapella Bourgeois and Burgas Moonshine Lad, and he could be a bit of a price in the morning. I wouldn't be surprised if he was about 6-4, 7-4. So I think he could go off odds on though.
You're doing the column with Willie this week, aren't you, for tomorrow's Racing Post? Did he mention Arbor de Vie?
Yeah, he was. He thinks he's come on a lot since that run at Fairyhouse. He seemed pretty sweet on him. It's a decent enough race because Moonshine Lad is no mug either, and either is Acapella Bourgeois, was a good hurdler. So I think he'll win.
All right, and Rob, anything from you for Navan on Saturday?
Yeah, I like Arbor de Vie in the beginner's chase, and in the maiden hurdle, I'd say Jersey is possibly going to be favourite, but I think he's worth taking on it. He jumped desperately the day at Fairyhouse, and Gettysburg Address beat him that day, and I'd say Gettysburg Address could be a bigger price, so go with him to confirm the form.
Gettysburg Address in the 2:10 at Navan on Saturday for Rob Wright. Best bets of the weekend now.
If he doesn't win, I will be absolutely staggered. I think it's a stone cold certainty.
Away you go, Keels.
That was for the Peter Marsh chase last year.
Blimey.
Diamond Harry, wasn't it?
Still running. Rev to Similar. Same colours, same trainer. No, I will go for Woof at Haydock in a 350.
Okay, DJ?
I will go for Lammy Surge.
I've
lost the time of the race.
Champion
I think it's
2:05 at Haydock Park.
Yeah, 2:05 Lammy Surge.
And Rob?
And I'm all over Bristol de May and the Peter Marsh.
Excellent. Well, that seems to sum up the feelings of you three from what we've had so far. We'll have another break and then we'll come back and look at Sunday's action.
Head into one of Paddy Power's retail shops where you can watch all live UK and Ireland racing every day. Or head over to Ladbrokes, Coral and Betfred where you can watch Homes Under the Hammer.
Blimey, I thought there'd be some small talk after that. What do they call it? Terms and conditions. That caught me on the hop. It's Bruce Millington, Paul Keeley, David Jennings and Paddy Power's Rob Catterson. We've looked at Saturday. Let's look at Sunday now. The UK action is Hereford, which should be okay. Fontwell, which might be a little bit dicey given the cold weather in the south of England, but the main event is over in Ireland. It's Leopardstown and the main event there, the 310, the ultra-competitive Coral.ie hurdle. There are 23 runners, and take us through the bet. We've got a hot favourite, haven't we, Rob?
Yeah, we sure do. It's a cracking renewal. We're 9-4 about Heartbreak City. Tony Martin's got the joint second favourite in Golden Spear at 8-1 with That's a Wrap. After Rain is 10s, 14-1. The name escapes me, An Ice Cold Soul, and it's 16's bar. Come
on then, David Jennings. What's going to happen here?
Yeah, this is intriguing. It really is. Like Tom Siegel, who was price-wise, was looking for a quote from Tony Martin on Heartbreak City for the champion hurdle when he was doing his race. He's rated 125, and if Tom is looking for a quote because he's interested in the champion hurdle, he simply has to win this. And he could win it, but he's going to be a ridiculously short price. Do you want to back a horse that's going to be held up, that's going to need luck and running, that's going to need to jump well in a race like this at 9-4 shorter? It wouldn't be my cup of tea. He probably will win, but the value, there's no value there, I don't think. There's too many question marks, as I said already. And I think the one that has crept in here under the radar is a stablemate, Golden Spear, who ran okay in Ascot. The ground went against him that day. Dennis O'Regan is back on board this time, and he rode him when he won the race in Listowel on, I think, his previous start over hurdles. He's a pretty good flat horse. He won at Leopardstown. 10-2 with Dennis O'Regan creeping into it. I just think he's a bit of a better he's obviously doesn't have the same amount of ability as Heartbreak City, but there's not a huge amount between them either, and I just think he's a better jumper than Heartbreak City, so I'm going to go for Golden Spear.
Rob Catterson, who are you going to go for?
Yeah, Tony Martin's got 4 horses in this, and I'd say you could make a genuine case for all 4. A Golden Spear, again, he ran really well in Ascot, and as David said, he just probably got caught out before staying on. But I'm going to take a real stab in the dark. I've been following this horse for 2 years. Gladiator King. He ran really well. I know what you're going to say, but I backed him at Leopardstown at Christmas, and just for a moment turning in, I said to myself, this lad has a chance. Now, he's 5th. He's only beaten a couple of lengths, but this lad has a big race in him, and he's right down at the bottom. Slippers Madden's on board. It's been a while since Tony Martin and JP had a big winner together. This lad, at a big price in his 20s, he's got a squeak.
OK, Rob, and don't forget your colleague Frank the Tank Hickey has been following After Rain all winter.
He has,
so
yeah.
It might just be the day for After Rain. What's your big neg on Gladiator King then, David? We heard you make all sorts of disparaging noises there.
060685 would be my negative. He's just now he has ability and he's seriously well handicapped, but he's just
figures for a well-punted handicap.
Exactly, yeah.
Hurdle winner in Ireland, isn't it?
He's just one of these horses that, you know, he's a big talking horse. I think he dead heated one day with Prince of Scars in a maiden hurdle at Leopardstown, I think 2 years ago, and then it looked as though he was going to develop into a real, like, maybe they're just taking their time, but by God, they're taking a hell of a lot of time.
Okay, Keels, I think this you see this fairly straightforward, don't you?
Well, look, if Heartbreak City jumps, he wins. I mean, you have a look at his flat rating compared to his hurdles rating, and Steve Mason always said to me years ago, he said, yeah, you know, if they transfer the full ability from the flat to jumps, then you add 50. Right, and he's 113?
That's a real Mick Fitzgerald line, that.
He's 113 or something on the flat. So, you know, he should be 160. He should be a 160 hurdle. He's running off 125. Now, obviously, if he doesn't jump, then you can take off pounds for every single hurdle. So, you know, I would never bet short prices in that sort of race. I fell for Quick Jack, Tony Martin's, a few years ago. I mean, he's had 3 beaten favourites in this race in the last 10 years. And Quick Jack was 7-4. Didn't have as much in hand on his flat rating, but still didn't win. Before Rob spoke, I was going to say, what price are Tony Martin 1, 2, 3? Yeah. And I was going to put up the other one, Tudor City, as an each way shot of 25. I just think he's a horse that travels really well and might squeeze into the frame. Nothing more than that. But you know, if he
could be placed, he's a rogue.
Yeah. But he's a strong traveller. He'll get into the race. He'll probably get deep into the race, but he obviously didn't find too much the last 2 times, did he?
Okay, to paraphrase the last 5 minutes, back the Tony Martin horses, not necessarily the Fav. 240, equally competitive, the Coral.ie Leopardstown Handicap Chase. 19 go to post for this. Have your odds compilers deigned to come up with a show yet, Rob, or do we have to wait a little for that one?
No, we've had betting all week and they've updated it. So so as it stands, a Toy Phil is 9-2, Stellar Notion is 13-2. Then we've got Lake Takapuna at 7s, Vukovar with Davy Russell is 9s, and 12-1 Space Cadet after he was tipped up by someone earlier on today.
Okay, well, if the previous race was all about Tony Martin, I guess this is largely about Gordon Elliott, isn't it, DJ? I think he's got 7 runners. Will he train the winner?
Yeah, that's someone that Rob is talking about as me. I tipped him on the tipping pages today. Space Cadet was 14-1 yesterday. He's 12-1 now. My guess would be he'll go off 6s, 5s, maybe shorter. The thing about it is, and you might get fooled into this, Davy Russell obviously rides the horse, but there's no way he could do 10 stone 3. And then you say to yourself, well, why isn't Jack Kennedy riding it? But I think Jack has to ride the Gigginstown horse because Gigginstown have given him so many chances. I think he has to ride a Toy Phil. If he's given the opportunity to ride in a Gigginstown horse, I think he has to ride it. And Johnny Burke rides out, who returns from injury. He's had a rotten run of injury, and I just think this could be in the stars. He's been at the race. He's a lovely fella. He's back from injury. He rides out in Gordon, so I'm hoping that Gordon has said to him, look, I have one for you. Get you back in the spotlight, Space Cadet. I think he's very well handicapped off 133. He's only had 3 starts over fences. His first handicap was at Punchestown before Christmas, and he had top weight that day, and he ran an absolute cracker. He was second. He's gone up £3 for that. I think this trip is his optimum. I think this has been the plan. Gordon has won every single bloody valuable handicap chaser is going this year. He won the Paddy Power with Noble Endeavour, who's also owned by Chris Jones. I just think everything is in Space Cadet's favour, Bruce.
I tell you what, that was phenomenal. Did not miss a beat there, did he? That was about 8,000 words in 90 seconds. Well played, DJ. Superb. Right, Rob Catson, we'll go to you for your verdict on this one.
Right, well, yeah, I was obviously going to talk about Space Cadet, but I won't tip him up because DJ has Stellar Notions, a horse who I thought ran really well in the Paddy Power Christmas. That was over 3. Back to 2-5. Henry de Bromhead and David Mullins got a really good strike rate. I think David's ridden more winners for Henry than any other jockey. He's a front runner. You'll get a real good run for your money, and he could be hard to catch. Stellar Notion.
What about you, Kills? 12-year-old Roly Baby, Willie Mullins, Ruby Walsh.
No, not for me. I'm very interested to see what happens in the market with Vukovar because he was a very, very promising horse a couple of years ago. He's obviously had this big layoff, but he's £8 lower than he was, and he had the potential to be a lot better than 152. Now he's running off 144. First time out in a £100,000 handicap. It's one of those. He'll get smashed or he'll drift like a barge and come nowhere. So keep an eye on the barge on that. He'd be the one that interests me the most.
DJ, talk us through York Hill's task in the 2:10. Is it a penalty kick or is it a severe examination?
It is probably a penalty kick, but it's a good race, and we get to find out just what he's like.
Okay, we'll come to Kills. He's saying lay.
Go on.
We'll go with you, DJ.
You go.
You go and have your dinner. You go and have your dinner, Kills, and then when DJ's finished, you can tell us why York Hills are late.
In first as well.
Go read another few chapters of that book. There's 2 horses in here rated 148. You've got Gangster, who Willie Mullins used to train, and you've got Annabelle Fly, who went off favourite for the Feltham or the Cotto Star Novice Chase at Kempton and ran an absolute shocker. It looked like he pulled a muscle that day, Annabelle Fly, but I spoke to Tony afterwards and he said the ground was just too quick for him. It's not going to be that much slower, I don't think, at Leopardstown. So he was very disappointing. He is a good horse, though. If he came back to his best, he'd give York Hill a race. Like, York Hill, he is exceptional, and he looked exceptional in beating Yanworth in the Neptune last year. He should win, but if you're, I can't see why he should be 2-7 or 2-9 or whatever he's likely to be. He will be given a test here, and he's not going to win this race by 20 lengths. I think he'll win, but I think he'll probably make hard work of it. And I'd probably back Gangster without. He didn't do a whole lot wrong. I know he has some 1 over fences, but didn't do a whole lot wrong when he was just beaten in a beginner's chase at Christmas. And it'd be Gangster without for me.
Rob, any inkling as to what price you think York Hill will be for this?
Yeah, again, we've had this price up most of the week. He's 1-3.
Oh, there you go.
Decks.
More than an inkling. That's what he is.
And Annabelle Flies 5s and Gangster 7s.
Okay, and Kills, why is York Hill a lay?
I just got one of those feelings that this is a horse that isn't going to fulfil its potential. Just a little bit worried about him. Obviously, that Cheltenham form was really good, even if Yanworth wasn't quite at his best when Alan King was out of form. But hung left, jumped left at Aintree. hung left at Punchestown, jumped left on his chase debut. I just have a feeling that there's something not quite right with him, and at some point, he's going to get rolled over at very short odds, and I'm going to be against him when he is.
OK, one horse each to back on Sunday. The name of the horse, the name of the race, the name of the meeting. Rob Catterson.
OK, I'll go for Capital Force in the second race. Ruby's on board. He's got a really good strike rate for Henry de Bromhead. I think he'll win that.
Is there anything more specific on the time? 1:40. There we go. You lot don't use times in Ireland. It's the novice hurdle or the second or the last. DJ.
The 1:40 at Leopardstown, same race as Rob. I'm going to take him on with Harold Pito, Alan Fleming and Dennis O'Regan. Lovely flat horse for Ken Condon. They've taken their time with him, and I just loved his run at Christmas. I thought it was a stepping stone for more to come. And Capital Force didn't settle at Christmas.
Which part of one horse, one race, one time do you not understand?
Yeah, I don't like these judges, right, that give names a horse. You see tipping sites, the name of the horse. I want to know why people fancy the horse.
If you had a tipping line, mate, it would cost about 38 quid to get to find out what you've had for breakfast. Never mind what the first bloody tip was. Anyway. Keels, what's your Sunday best?
Can I waffle on that?
No.
Hereford, 350. Old boy, Renard, trained by Venetia Williams, 12-year-old. Second to Bears Wales on its last run last year. Winner, second and fourth, all won since and gone up the handicap. I know he's getting on, but the youngest horse in the race is 9 and they're all exposed. OK, weekend plans. Rob Catson, what are you up to?
Yeah, working all weekend.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, that's nice. Is it a good vibe on Saturday and Sunday? Do you wear different clothes or do you wear the office wear? Do you put your jeans and your trainers on?
More low key at the weekend, and it's a good weekend to be working, I think.
OK, DJ. Now, when are you going to finally get round to proposing to the lovely Aoife?
Yeah, it looks like it's in the running order
for
the next couple of months.
How long have you been with her now?
Nearly 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, but see, I'm 31 now, so I'm getting on a bit. But
Perfect
speaking
age.
of Aoife, much will depend. My weekend plans will depend much on her because she's sick at the moment. She's got...
Oh, dear.
Yeah, she's a sore throat, she has a cough, she has the flu, she's a sore ear. Everything that could be possibly wrong with her is wrong with her. So if she's sick tomorrow, I might be able to play a football match. And
looking forward to it then, yeah.
So,
let's hope it doesn't clear up then, eh?
If she's also sick on Sunday, I might sneak off to Leopardstown as well.
All right, so you're really going to look after her. Will you marry me? Yeah, you're supposed to be looking after her.
Aoife, by the way,
nursing her.
Blimey, this is something. You're getting slagged off for neglecting your missus by Paul Keeley, the man who dreamt up phantom weeks off work so he could go and play golf. Keels, what? So you've had your first week back. How was it? Straight back into it?
Yeah, straight back into it. Nice to get a couple of winners on the board because I hadn't tipped any for quite a while. So yeah, good.
Hang on, you've
they
got
were two great
Whoa! Headline news. You've got jeans
loads
on.
of pairs of jeans. I just don't wear blue jeans. You know that.
Are they not dark blue?
No.
Why would you not wear a pair of blue jeans?
I don't like them.
You've never worn blue jeans?
Never worn blue jeans in my life, no.
Right, so what are you doing this weekend? You working?
I am working tomorrow, and I have no idea what I'm doing Sunday yet.
No? Okay. Heavy drinking tonight?
It's a possible. I had a bit of a heavy one Wednesday night, mine. So.
I'm alright. You're on a slippery slope when you're having Wednesday night benders. Okay, gang, thank you very much indeed for your expertise. Join us on Monday when no less a big name than Sam Twiston-Davis will be wrapping up how he got on the new one, looking ahead to Cheltenham. And then on Tuesday, our Cheltenham Anti-Post Postcast series continues when we look at the Gold Cup. So if you like the Racing Post Postcast, do be sure to rate and subscribe on iTunes. Thank you very much for joining us.
The Racing Postcast in association with Paddy Power. They prize support UK and Irish racing the night before.